So this drops, Dani's the boss on this thing, but this drops near the end of the week, the podcast. So we'll share a link over with your department and you, okay?
Okay, awesome.
We've had tons of college guys. It's been fun this year. A lot of guys like you and from all over the country, and then top high school guys too. So
Good, good.
cool. You ready,
Ready.
D?
Yep.
All right. So Drew Swift and Dani obviously is based, back east, or who knows where her magical travels take her these days. But I probably could really rear back if my arm was in good shape and throw a baseball to Drew Swift. He's that close. But yet I had to have Dani pull together with the ASU athletic department, pull Drew Swift in again, who maybe if I open my window, we can do this podcast. So I'm excited to be talking to him. I've called a bunch of his games on television at ASU. And you and I never are able to get into this, Drew. I call the games, we have brief conversations, and you play. This is kind of fun. I guess I want to go here. Like when you look around your infield last year, and it was a shortened season, and you see Torkelson who goes 1, you see Alika who goes 40, Trevor Hauver goes 99, and Gage Workman goes 102. That's the whole infield minus you, basically, right? And when you see the progression of athletes like you've progressed, what do you learn now in hindsight? Because the draft's been over for a long time now, but now in hindsight, what do you learn about, professional baseball? What do you learn about your development and how much your development from then until now will have an impact on your career? What did you learn watching them go through that?
Yeah, obviously it was a super talented class coming in, and we kind of knew that. It was a difficult couple of years to begin with, but just talking to those guys after what they've been through, they said it's been pretty easy. It's honestly sucked for them, they said, because they haven't been able to play a full season.
Yeah.
But just going out there every day in practice and talking to Gage, talking to Alika, just at shortstop, just learning different things. I would say that's where I kind of grew the most, just getting comfortable with new stuff, like strengths they would have and weaknesses I would have. I would just try to gain off of them. And so, just learning from those guys, and then obviously you have Torque with the hitting side too. So talking to those guys, it was a pleasure to have, and honestly the best infield I've ever played with.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. You just amazing, and a pleasure to the few games or the handful of games I was there with you guys. It was a pleasure, and you're one of the best defensive infielders I've seen in college. So what has come with that, Drew, has been your offense, right? If I'm looking at slug, I go 214, 333, 460. If I go OBP, I go 321, 375, 403. I see everything getting better. So the simple-minded guy in me, if I just bumped into you at Starbucks, says, why? Why have I seen that great increase? Is it something beyond just strength and getting taller and bigger, stronger? What else has sparked that great increase offensively?
Yeah, I think we have one of the best hitting coaches in the country with Michael Early. He's been a big part in my success, especially I would say last year. The big jump I had was just the more power. Obviously, strength came with that, but just in there every day working, and he's a great dude to work with. Super easy. He's not gonna pressure you to do anything else, anything special, but he kind of just wants you to be comfortable. And I would say it was that, and just the mental side, knowing I'm a good hitter, like knowing I can get on base, knowing I can hit the ball deep. So I would say a combination of both, the physical and mental side, just kind of gave me a boost of confidence, and I feel like I've tapped into something I haven't ever seen before. So I'm excited.
So you've spent your college career with a lot of growth, a lot of progression, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of patience. So reading about you and your journey to get here, Coach Smith asked you to be patient when you were deciding on colleges, knowing this was your dream school. And he was quoted saying, "I say it every day, I'd be sick to my stomach if he didn't come here." So those are pretty powerful words, I think, anyway. So how has your patience paid off for you since that moment?
Yeah, so it was kind of a crazy story on how I got to ASU. It was obviously my dream school. But there was a few infielders in front of me with Bo Bichette and Gavin Lux who were committed before me. So I kind of had to be patient, and it sucked. I would go around other places, look at the facilities and stuff, and I just couldn't get ASU out of my mind. And so I would say just waiting waiting for that opportunity that I finally got was amazing. It came true, and so those guys are obviously in the major leagues now doing their thing, and I get to play. I always joke around saying that if those guys were at school, I'd probably be on the bench for a couple of years. So
that's funny. That's really funny. And obviously the patience has paid off, and it's really cool to see that journey for you. And with that journey, we hear a lot about parents and their influence on you. And as an only child, your parents have obviously tried to give you every opportunity in the world. Your dad, Pat, shortstop at Georgia, when he was in school. But I want to hear about your mom, Robin, and the impact that she's had on you.
Yeah, so I would always kind of get on her about the baseball side, because it's always tough with the mother and the relationship with baseball. So I mean, she's just always been the supportive cast. I mean, my dad was always coaching, so he was kind of hard on me, and so I'd always come home and I'd be bummed out sometimes with a bad game, and my mom would always be there cheering me up. So she was always the supportive side. So I definitely needed that.
It's awesome. Family's amazing. Is it cool to have them close?
It is, yeah. It's a pleasure. They're at all the home games, and occasionally I'll go home on Sundays, have dinner with them, stuff like that. So it's a blessing.
How much did they sacrifice? Because no matter what your parents' income is, if they're still together, not together, it's a sacrifice to have a pretty vigorous travel ball schedule. And you did with Rex Gonzalez's T-Rex team. So talk to me about your parents and some of the car rides and the plane flights to Jupiter or to Atlanta or to Fort Myers. Talk to me about a little bit of the sacrifice your parents made so that you could be that travel ball athlete.
Yeah, they've been awesome throughout the whole experience. They obviously travel with me, paying for all my flights and stuff like that, getting me hotel rooms. They've been awesome. My dad travels about every week for his job, so he's not there as much as my mom was at the time. But I mean, he's always wanted to come to games. Obviously, he's more the baseball guy, but they definitely made some sacrifices that I couldn't do without him. So
yeah, there's no doubt. It's a good travel program you played in a lot of good events. You did. You played Jupiter, and I'd love to know who you were. So when in 2014 at the 15U PG World Series in Fort Myers, 5'9", 135. Who were you back then, Drew Swift? Were you Andrew Swift back then, or Drew Swift?
You know, I couldn't even tell you. I'm surprised that ASU recruited me at that size. But no, I mean, I was just a smaller dude, so I was never really on the radar to get recruited. But I was lucky to be on that team with all those guys around me, and it kind of brought the scouts around, and they would just happen to see me, and they're like, "Oh, who's that little skinny shortstop over there? He looks pretty good." So no, it was definitely good having those guys around me, playing on such a competitive team. But yeah, I got to ASU, and my first weigh-in was 140.0 pounds. So it had to be one of the smallest in college baseball, probably history. But no, we've came a long ways, put on some weight, definitely. So.
And then from this skinny shortstop to a premier shortstop at a premier program, you know, I think about you guys and your class, and I'm sure you are sick and tired of talking about COVID and the pandemic, but it's taken a lot. I feel like a lot to get to the point where we can say opening weekend is here. How do you feel like knowing that you are days away from finally like getting a season again?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't wanted to play against another team so badly before in my life. I mean, just with obviously the shortened season last year, we've had so much time off, and we've had so many inter squads, and so we're kind of all ready to be on the same side and compete against another team. So I think we're ready to get at it. I think we did a really good job on how we handled it with the whole COVID. We had some guys go down and everything, but for the most part, I think we're in a good position. We didn't have too many practices canceled, so I feel like we're really prepared going in for the season.
Is there a team motto? Is there something you guys are writing this year?
It's just be able to adapt. I mean, that's the one thing that coach has said. He's just saying it's not going to be a perfect season. There's going to be obstacles in the way, and so we have to be ready for anything that happens.
Love it.
Explain to people how quirky your head coach can be.
Yeah, he can be a different dude, that's for sure. over the years, he's definitely, I finally understood his way of thinking, but no, he's a good dude. He does a lot of funny things out there. So I enjoy playing for him.
Yeah, and I mean that honestly in the highest of levels, considering myself as quirky and odd as I am, because I feel like when you're gray-haired guys like we are, to relate to guys like you that get it and are hip, we're so far past, being you guys. We were you a long time ago. I think you have to be a little different. I think you have to get in touch with your youthful side while not losing the fact that you're a leader and a mentor. But you have to get in touch with that, unless you're just a straight military leader, which there are some like that in baseball too. He's not that though. He's kind of quirky on social media. You probably at times look on Twitter and you're like, oh, there's my coach. And yet you've watched him too. I'd love your perspective on this. You've watched him kind of endure a couple of years back, to me, unfair kind of expectations and criticism. Like, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. And I always wonder about this with the older ASU alumni. Like, what do you guys expect? For me, I'm always impressed with the level-headedness, and you guys are watching him closely, whether you admit it or not, the level-headedness he showed a couple years back when people weren't, quote unquote, satisfied with where you guys were as a program. I learned a lot watching him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's remained even keeled throughout the whole thing. He's been good with us. And so after my first year, I finally got to notice why he was so hard on us. I mean, after my sophomore and my junior year, and obviously this year, I see how he's difficult on the freshmen. He just wants them to be good. He holds them to a high standard. So after understanding that, going through a couple of years, and I mean, after that freshman year, he's not as hard on you because he knows that you've been through it and knows what he expects from you. And so, I mean, it's been awesome to have him. And I'm grateful for the opportunity I got. And I just want to help out those freshmen, let them know what's going on. So I try to do my best.
Hey, last one for me. Is the stash staying? Is it growing? Are we starting anew when the season starts, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, Skip actually posted something on Instagram, kind of a poll of what I should do, and a lot of feedback was coming back, and they wanted the stash. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see for opening day, see what we get, how I'm feeling. But I don't know. I get mixed feelings about it. So we'll see. It'll be a surprise.
Give the people what they want.
So wait, exactly. Take social media away. And I want to know where those mixed feelings come from. I don't care about social media or your teammates. Maybe your mom or dad. Is there someone significant in your life? Like, well, where do those mixed feelings come from?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few more opinionated people. I'd say my girlfriend. She wants it gone. She likes a full beard, I would say. But we'll see. I mean, if the people want it, then I think they should get it.
Okay. I guess I'm okay with that. Hey, by the way, she played at Grand Canyon, yes? Soccer?
She did, yes. She did.
Jessica. Tell me a little bit about what that was like. 2 D1 athletes and a power couple, if you will. But tell me what that's like, because in a weird way, you guys can learn from each other. You guys can actually have empathy towards one another.
Yeah, it's been awesome just supporting each other throughout the college years. I mean, it's been awesome going over there, watching her play. She actually she tore ACL a couple of years ago, which ended her career, but she enjoyed it for however long it lasted. She also has a brother who plays for the Giants, and so I've gotten close with him for sure. We're really close, and so just talking to him as well. I mean, they're great people, and I love having them around.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Drew, thank you so much.
Of course. Anytime. No problem.
Great week, man. Have fun. Okay.
We'll see you at your ballpark soon, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Bye.